Marcus Morris's rookie season was in the 2011-12 season, which was a lockout year for the league. Saying it was a rough introduction to the league would be an understatement. Drafted 14th overall by the Houston Rockets, Morris came in with high expectations after a strong college career at Kansas with his twin bro, but Marcus struggled to find his footing at the pro level, which is probably why he was picked after his brother was. He played in just 17 games, averaging 2 points and a rebound per game, while shooting an inefficient 29% from the whole field. He spent most of the season in the D-League with the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, where he worked on adjusting to the NBA pace and physicality. Meanwhile, the Rockets finished the lockout-shortened season with a 34-32 record, narrowly missing the playoffs. For Morris, year one was humbling since he was a lottery pick. Luckily for him, he took a noticeable step forward in his 2012-13 NBA season, splitting time between the Houston Rockets and the Phoenix Suns after being traded mid-season. He played in a total of 77 games, which is 17 more than his entire rookie year, not bad improvement at all, averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, and shooting about 43% from the field, including a strong 38% from 3. With Houston, he began to make out a role as a stretch forward, but minutes were inconsistent. In February, he was traded to the Suns, reuniting with his twin brother Markieff, where he came off the bench and continued to develop as a reliable floor spacer. The Rockets finished the season 45-37, earning a playoff spot, while the Suns struggled to a 25-57 record. Overall, the season marked real progress for Marcus. He improved his efficiency, earned consistent minutes, and started showing signs that he belonged in the league. The 2013-14 season was a breakout year for Marcus Morris, as he became an important role player off the bench for a surprisingly competitive Phoenix Suns team. He played in 81 games, averaging nearly 10 points, 4 rebounds, and shot a career-best 44% from the field and 38.1% from 3. Coming in as one of the Suns' most reliable second-unit scorers, Morris provided energy, spacing, and physical defense, often checking in alongside his twin brother Markieff. The Suns, under first-year head coach Jeff Hornacek, shocked the league with a 48-34 record, far exceeding expectations. But despite their strong performance, they narrowly missed the playoffs in a stacked Western Conference, finishing 9th. While there were no postseason games for Morris that year, it was clearly a turning point in his career, as he cemented himself as a steady rotation player with a growing offensive game and valuable two-way versatility. In the next 2014-15 season, Marcus Morris continued to build on his role with the Phoenix Suns, stepping into a larger position as a part-time starter. He appeared in 81 games, starting 35 of them, and averaged a real 10 points this time, about 5 boards, and finally getting some assists per game while shooting 43% from the field and 35% from 3. His offensive versatility as a forward who could post up, hit threes, and guard multiple positions made him a valuable piece in Phoenix's crowded rotation. However, the Suns struggled with inconsistency and roster tension throughout the year, particularly after trading Goran Dragic and Isaiah Thomas mid-season. The team finished with a 39-43 record, missing the playoffs for the second straight year. Despite the lack of postseason play, this season marked Morris's highest scoring average to that point and solidified his identity as a gritty, do-it-all forward capable of starting or coming off the bench. The next 2015-16 season marked a major shift for Marcus as he was traded from the Suns to the Detroit Pistons in the offseason, a move partly driven by off-court tension between the Morris twins and Phoenix's front office. In Detroit, Marcus became a full-time starter and finally had a chance to up his stats to their full potential, playing 80 games all as a starter. He quickly emerged as a steady two-way presence for a young Pistons squad that was trying to climb back into playoff relevance. Under head coach Stan Van Gundy, Morris helped the team finish 44-38, clinching the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference and making the playoffs for the first time since 2009. However, their postseason run was short-lived as they were swept by LeBron James and the top-seeded, eventual champion Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. Still, this season was arguably Morris's most impactful to date, a reliable starter on a playoff team who brought toughness, consistency, and leadership. In the 2016-17 season, Marcus Morris continued to be a key starter for the Detroit Pistons. He remained a reliable scoring option on the wing and was often tasked with guarding the opposing team's best forward. However, the Pistons regressed as a team, finishing with a 37-45 record and missing the playoffs. Marcus's role remained consistent, but Detroit struggled with injuries and chemistry issues throughout the season, and we can just agree the Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson era was just never meant to work. At the same time, though, his twin brother Markieff Morris was finding more team success with the Washington Wizards, where he played a pivotal role as their starting power forward. Markieff averaged 14 points, 6.5 rebounds, and shot a more efficient 45.7% from the field, helping the Wizards finish 49-33 and reach the second round of the playoffs, where they lost in 7 games to the Boston Celtics. At this point in their careers, Marcus was the more versatile perimeter scorer, while Markieff had the edge in physicality and rebounding and was part of a more successful roster. Statistically, they were nearly identical, just like their looks, but Markieff's deeper playoff run and higher profile role gave him a slight edge in visibility and impact during that season. The next season, Marcus Morris was traded to the Boston Celtics, and this is where I started paying attention to him as a player. He had a new role as a key bench contributor on a deep and competitive team. He appeared in 54 regular season games, starting just 21 of them, averaging 13 points and 5 rebounds. Injuries limited his games played, but when healthy, Morris was a crucial part of Boston's second unit, providing scoring, physical defense, and toughness, all that good stuff. The Celtics finished the regular season with a 55-27 record, securing the second seed in the Eastern Conference despite losing both Gordon Hayward on opening night and later Kyrie Irving before the playoffs. This was that playoff run that had Tatum, Brown, and Rozier going crazy. Well, Morris stepped up in a big way too. He played in all 19 playoff games, averaging 12.4 points, 4.9 rebounds, and shooting 41.1% from 3, often guarding top offensive players, most notably LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston made a deep run to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, ultimately falling to the Cleveland LeBrons, but Morris's two-way impact and playoff toughness helped cement his reputation as a valuable postseason performer and reliable veteran presence. Next year was another strong year for Marcus Morris. He returned to the Boston Celtics and played a larger role throughout the regular season. He appeared in 75 games, starting 53 of them, and averaged 14 points, 6 rebounds, and some assists per game, while shooting pretty good from the field and from 3, all near career-high marks. His ability to space the floor, defend multiple positions, and bring veteran leadership made him one of Boston's most consistent contributors in a season filled with chemistry issues and inconsistent play from the team's stars, including our favorite toxic point guard. The Celtics finished the regular season with a 49-33 record, good enough for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. In the playoffs, Morris again showed his value on the big stage. He played in all 9 playoff games, averaging 13.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, and shooting a scorching 51.9% from the field and 45.0% from 3. Despite his strong performance, the Celtics were eliminated in the second round by the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games, ending a disappointing postseason run for a team that had finals expectations. Still, the 2018-19 season was arguably one of Morris's most complete years, combining scoring efficiency, physical defense, and leadership, and helped set him up for a payday in free agency the following summer. The 2019-20 season was a split year for Marcus Morris, but definitely one of the most eventful of his career. This is about the time I think people started seeing him as better than his brother Markieff now. He began the season with the New York Knicks, where he played some of the best basketball of his career. In 43 games for New York, Morris averaged a career-high 19.6 points, along with 5.4 rebounds, and shot an impressive 43.9% from 3, making him one of the most efficient volume scorers on a struggling Knicks team. With New York deep in a rebuild, Morris became a prime trade target. At the February trade deadline, he was sent to the Los Angeles Clippers, who were gearing up for a championship run. With LA, Morris's role shifted back to more of a role player. It was sure fun while it lasted. In 19 regular season games for the Clippers, he averaged 10.1 points, 4.1 rebounds, and shot 31.0% from 3 as he adjusted to a new system and fewer touches alongside stars like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Makes you wonder if Marcus Morris would be looked at as a star by now if he didn't have to play with stars. The Clippers finished the regular season with a 49-23 record in a short season, securing the 2nd seed in the West. In the 2020 NBA playoffs inside the Orlando bubble, Morris started every game and played a significant role, averaging 11.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, and shooting 47.5% from the field and 47.2% from 3 across 13 playoff games. However, despite a strong start, the Clippers infamously blew a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference semifinals to the Denver Nuggets, falling short of their championship hopes. Overall, the 2019-20 season showed both sides of Morris's value as a go-to scorer in New York and as a gritty floor-spacing role player in a contending environment with the Clippers. In the 2020-21 NBA season, Marcus Morris Sr. played for the Los Angeles Clippers, who finished with a 47-25 record, placing 4th in the Western Conference. He participated in 57 regular season games, averaging 13.4 points and 4.1 rebounds in 26.4 minutes per game, and impressively shot 47.3% from beyond the arc. In the playoffs, where the Clippers reached the Western Conference Finals before losing to the Phoenix Suns 4-2, Morris played in 19 games, averaging 12.2 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 1.5 assists in 31.8 minutes per game, shooting 37.5% on threes. And in the playoffs for that year, Marcus Morris Sr. was a key contributor for the Los Angeles Clippers, particularly following Kawhi Leonard's injury in the Western Conference semifinals. He played a vital role in their run to the Western Conference Finals, averaging 12.2 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 1.5 assists across 19 playoff games. While his performance was marked by some inconsistency, with fluctuations in his three-point shooting, Morris provided key offensive surges, including a playoff career-high 26 points in Game 6 of the conference finals. Defensively, he was a valuable asset in the Clippers' switching scheme, capably guarding a range of opponents from guards to bigger players like Rudy Gobert. He demonstrated toughness, even battling a knee injury during the conference finals. However, his tendency to be a black hole on offense at times, prioritizing his own shots rather than creating for teammates, was a weakness. While his individual defense could be impactful, it wasn't consistently at a high level. Overall, Morris's 2021 playoff performance highlighted his strengths as a shooter and versatile defender, while also exposing areas where he could improve as a more well-rounded offensive contributor and rebounder. In the 2021-22 season, Marcus Morris Sr. continued as a starter for the Los Angeles Clippers, who finished with a 42-40 record, placing 8th in the Western Conference. In the regular season, he averaged 15.4 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.1 assists in 29.0 minutes per game over 54 appearances, shooting 43.4% from the field and 36.7% from three-point range. With Kawhi Leonard sidelined for the entire season and Paul George missing most of it, Morris took on a significantly larger offensive role and was relied upon to create more shots for himself. He exhibited flashes of the scoring ability that made him a hot commodity in previous seasons, particularly when operating out of the mid-post, but his efficiency dipped compared to the previous year. This increased offensive load and the team's struggles with injuries likely contributed to some inconsistency in his performance. The Clippers ultimately fell short of the playoffs, losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first play-in game and then to the New Orleans Pelicans in the second play-in game. Morris played in 3 of the Clippers' playoff games, but struggled with his efficiency, shooting just 34.5% from the field and 16.7% from three-point range. The Clippers were outscored by a significant margin in the minutes he was on the court during those playoff games. Overall, the 2021-22 season saw Morris take on a heavier offensive burden, but also revealed some limitations in his game, particularly on the defensive end. His prime might have been running out by now, and fast. 2022-23 season, Marcus Morris Sr. was still the Clippers' starting power forward, surprisingly. At least the Stars Kawhi and PG were finally back for most of it, but still the Clippers finished with a 44-38 record, securing the 5th seed in the Western Conference. Morris appeared in 65 games, starting all of them, averaging 11.2 points, 4.0 rebounds, and 1.8 assists in 28.1 minutes per game. He shot 42.6% from the field and 36.4% from three-point range. While Morris started the season pretty good, averaging 13.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, 44% from the field, and 38% from deep over his first 41 games, his performance really took a hit in the second half of the season. Over a 24-game stretch from mid-January to late March, he averaged a mere 7.6 points and 2.6 rebounds while shooting a dismal 38.8% from the field and 31.3% from three. This big slump led to him eventually being replaced in the starting lineup by Nicholas Batum. You know how sorry you have to be replaced by slow-moving Batum at this point of their careers. In the playoffs, with Leonard and George both injured, Morris was again forced into a more prominent role, but his struggles continued. He averaged 8.7 points and 4.0 rebounds in 3 appearances, shooting only 34.5% from the field and 16.7% from beyond the arc. The Clippers were significantly outscored when Morris was on the floor in the playoffs, highlighting his diminishing impact. I'm afraid that was his last chance to shine as a major factor player. In the 2023-24 NBA season, Marcus Morris Sr. began the season with the Philadelphia 76ers after being traded from the Clippers in the James Harden deal. With the 76ers, he played 37 games, only starting 7 of them, averaging 6.7 points and 2.9 rebounds per game in 17 minutes, shooting 43.9% from the field and 40.0% from three-point range. Morris's hometown connection to Philadelphia was a factor in his time with the team, and he expressed enjoyment in being able to play for the 76ers. However, his stint in Philadelphia ended when he was traded to the San Antonio Spurs at the trade deadline. Morris did not play any games for the Spurs before being waived. He then signed a 10-day contract with the Cleveland Cavaliers in March and eventually remained with the team for the rest of the season. During the playoffs, Morris played in 9 games for the Cavs, averaging 6.1 points and 2.8 rebounds in 15 minutes per game. The Cavaliers made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals before losing to the Boston Celtics 4-1. I feel like he could still play at a decent level at this point, but y'all know how NBA politics go. Once you start looking washed, they treat you like you're washed. So the most recent 2024-25 season rolls around, and Marcus Morris Sr. initially signed with the New York Knicks on a weird contract in September 2024, but he was waived shortly after in late September before playing any games for them. This left him as a free agent for the remainder of the season. You hate to see it. So following the 2023-24 season, where his role in production notably declined, and after not securing a place on an NBA roster for the majority of the 2024-25 season, Morris can't catch a break. He's now facing additional challenges when he was most recently arrested in July 2025 in Florida on a felony fraud charge related to writing a check with insufficient funds. This incident is supposedly stemming from an alleged casino debt and adds to a history of legal troubles for Morris, including a battery charge in 2012 and aggravated assault charges in 2015. While his brother Markieff and agent have indicated the situation may be overblown or a misunderstanding, the arrest, coupled with his recent on-court struggles and the fact that he was already a free agent, certainly spells doom on his future in the league. Which sucks, because Morris had recently begun transitioning into a media career, appearing as an analyst on ESPN shows, but the arrest could potentially impact those opportunities as well. Given the combination of his declining on-court performance in recent seasons, his inability to secure a roster spot in 2024-25, and now this latest legal issue, it's fair to say that the recent arrest could indeed spell the end for Morris's up-and-down NBA career, but hey, I hope not. Consider subscribing if you made it this far. I see ya.